finale for this evening is the red tag.
That's right. We've now tied a wet fly pattern with the hackle sloping back, aids entry into the water. It'll sink that much quicker. So we're now going to tie a fly which essentially floats on the surface of the water, so it's a dry fly. And I'm going to look at a fairly simple pattern. I wouldn't say it's anything popular today, but it's a red tag. I think they probably would still use it for grayling. It's very popular for grayling.
Has it got a Peacock Herl body?
A Peacock Herl body, yeah.
Has it? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to start off again. Just
what size hook have you got on there, Mark?
That's a 14. Okay, so I'll just crack on. We're going to tie a red tag, and we're going to start off essentially the same as what we've always done. So we've put the silk on the body, and we'll run it down to the end, just above the end of the hook. And what I'm going to do, throw a curved ball in, I'm going to tie the red tag's cousin, which is called the Treacle Parkin. And the reason why is the colour of the tail. So I'm just going to leave that for a moment and leave the stub there on the body and get myself a Peacock Herl. Ordinarily, when we use a quill or a feather, we would tie it in by the base. But with this particular pattern, what we're going to do is just reverse the quill and tie it in literally by the tip. I'll show you the reason why now as we wind the silk down the body. We need to leave a little bit more of a gap behind the eye for a dry fly. Again, I'll explain the situation, the reason why now. And wind the herl, touching turns. The reason why we tie it in by the base is all the little fibres are lying at an angle behind the herl. So what you get is a fuller, thicker body. You could even run some very fine wire through this actually to stop it from falling apart. I think the reason why it's popular as a grayling fly is that it's less likely to be ripped apart by trout's teeth, as opposed to grayling. So it may well be that it lasts that much longer. Now I've got the body in place, I think what I'm just going to do is trim that tail to a respectable length and then find a red game hackle. So I'm going to take a red game hackle, which is nice and springy, quite short. We'll just sort of measure that up and see how that fits. That's fine. So when you take a hackle, you'll see that there's a sort of little bit of fluffy fibers at the base. So we'll just pinch those off. And with the wet fly, we talked about the shiny side, the concave side facing us. What we're going to do with the dry fly is actually turn it round so the dull side is facing. And we're going to tie that in and hold that in place with a hopefully well-timed half hitch. Also get my hackle pliers ready. And what you can do very often is that the hackle will twist around, so we'll just pull it slightly forward to make sure it does run in the direction we want it. Once you've got that initial one turn in, you can just run it backwards a few times into the body and then run through the hackle and put in and just leave that tangle there. Push the fibers back. So you've just got that hackle tip left angling, and then trap it in once, twice. That's fine. Take the hackle pliers off. And finish off with the lip finish, and then just push the hackles forward, snip off the end. You can just tidy up the hackle all around, and that is the Treacle Parkin, which should have been the red tag, but it's a good first cousin.
Nice.
Mark, I've used the red tag effectively with grayling.
Yes,
Never understood what it was emulating.
nothing at all. Red seems to be a very
It's just an
useful
attractor,
trigger.
isn't it?
It's just an attractor pattern, really.
Yes, yes.
I like that, Mark. I've never seen. I've
Okay.
never seen a Treacle Parkin.
It's a very popular Yorkshire pattern. Although I think they do use it on the arrow and the lug, you know, the Welsh Marches. The team.
I've seen at Wherwell on a test there that
Yeah.
I was down there with Huey one time, and they're saying, "Oh, look, the witch is taking the grayling." Is that with the same kind of fly with a white hackle?
The rolled switch, yes, yeah. I think the rolled switch has, forgive me, a little bit of golden pheasant in it as well, actually, in the tail.
Ah,
It's red wool and that. I may well be completely wrong.
yeah. It was Dio Huey who was catching on that witch pattern.
Yeah, with a white hackle.
Yes, white.
Yeah,
That's right.
it'll
Yeah,
be a white hackle.
yeah, yeah.
So a few variants there.
I'll look at that. Get the book out straight away. Okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay. One little point I'd like to raise is that I I think when most of these patterns were tied, there wasn't a great supply of decent cock hackles like we have today with genetic engineered hackles. And certainly the floatants they had were limited in, you know, to waxes, and I think mucilin came in quite late. But one of the ways they tried to overcome the fact these flies sank, and this is another treacle parkin. I'm just going to put it in the vise. Try to see the vise. Yes, yep. And the old boys knew a thing or two, and what they used to do was put the fly into or over either an open bowl of tobacco, their pipe, or they would singe it with a cigarette. And I'm not sure if I can spin the fly around. Can you see the singed effect under?
Yeah.
On the top now.
Yeah.
It's curled the fibers at the end.
It curled the fibers, and it just enabled a little bit more of the fly to sit in the surface tension of the water.
Like a wee leg.
Interesting.
Exactly.
So it's
like a leg.
a little hackle with boots on.
Yeah, like a wee leg, yeah.
A wee little leg, yeah. So what it sort of helped with the floatability,
yeah.
And it also meant that the quality of the cock hackle, you could use longer fibered cock hackles. But it's something you don't see around today. But I mean, the old boys used to use it as a little sort of
very interesting.
a little trick.
Yeah,
it just sat down lower in the water.
So you've just singed that with a lighter, Mark, have you?
No, don't use a lighter. That'll inflame the whole fly. You use a hot plate.
Oh, like a hot plate.
Yeah.
So if you put it on the gas stove and then turn it
no, you'll take your hand off.
But if you turn the gas off and then you put it on the hot ring.
No, you want Michael's mix
of tobacco. Yeah.
One of these.
And that's what the old boys used to do. They would just singe the tip of the hackle to.
Interesting.
Quite clever, isn't it?
Yeah, never seen that. I think you told me about that once, Mark. I've forgotten all about it.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
The basic premise of this lesson is the difference between cock and hen hackles, a wet and a dry fly, a little introduction into the style, if you like, of how you tie a fly, whether it's a heavy, which is a misnomer again. It doesn't imply weight. It just implies a bushier, what would you call it? Heavier tying. It's one of those descriptive terms which doesn't mean a great deal. And how you would fish that fly. Would you fish that fly I'm putting up now differently to that fly in the way it behaves? It's a shame we haven't got Mark Witherbin. He posted something about the FAB, Fab Blob. Can you have, for argument's sake, the right fly fishing the wrong way. I don't. Well, we'll sort of maybe talk about that later, maybe. But can the right fly or the right pattern just be fished in the wrong depth of water?
I think definitely. I think depth is a key thing. Gavin has talked to me about that on the rivers before. Gav, haven't you?
Yeah.
Just saying that you're fishing at different depths, and Peter is all about depth on the reservoir. That's how I think a lot of the reservoir chaps. Correct me if I'm incorrect, Mark Thomas. Like they have umpteen lines to make sure that if there is a depth that's required, that they can get to that depth and stay there.
Correct. Yeah.
Some of them actually have up to 20 lines. 20 different sink rates of lines. It's amazing the number of lines.
I know. The mind boggles there.
Yeah. The main boggles trying to, but if you're that many trying to pick which one.
That's right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, with rainbow,
must know a lot more than I know.
I mean, certainly with rainbows, depth is more critical than the type of fly, isn't it?
But I remember Farrell's fly range of fly lines. Yeah, these sunken lines was tied together with knots. That's how much he thought of them. Had them tied, there was knots in them tied together. Huh? He hated the sight of the sunken lines, didn't he?
Yeah, we love the dry fly.
Love the dry fly, yeah. All the sunken lines with these big frigging knots on them. Yeah, they had been tied together.
Absolutely.
I think those competition guys have so many lines because they're drifting at different speeds, and because they reckon that rainbows are only looking up, they're not looking down.
Yeah.
The flyers need to be above them all the time, so that's why they got those depths. I don't think it matters at all when you're fishing from the bank on reservoirs, to be honest, because you can just let the flies slink, and it's how slow your retrieve is, to be honest. But I definitely think they sometimes have an edge with those different lines. I've been out on boats with them where guys have had midge tips and I've got floaters, and you just don't get a fish, or you do get fish, but not to the same quantity they're getting. And it's all to do, they've gone down a foot, 12 inches down. You wouldn't think it make any difference, but sometimes it does.
Interesting. Very interesting that. How many lines have you got, Frank? You're on the banks of Rutland there, aren't you?
Yeah.
You should have all the lines.
I go out in the boat, I have about 4 lines or so, to be honest. I've been in competitions because obviously Rutland Water's got a lot of competition guys. So sometimes I go out with them. And you're right, they open their lid of their toolbox and there's like 40 lines there. You know which to use.
Wow. You spend half the day changing your lines constantly.
Yeah, they do, but they change them really quick. You'll be amazed how quick they change.
Yeah. No, they do.
Say, I'm going to change my line, and the next minute he's done it.
Yeah,
it's
I've seen that happen.
changing the line.
There's ways and means that I've got to learn.
Stick to the rivers.
We're going out, but don't you worry.
Right, should we go through the red tag for the final time, Mark? Do you think
I'm just watching Mark now. He's just finishing off. So you tie that in, and we'll just chat for a minute or two, and let him finish, and we'll do another one. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that Treacle Parkin. I like the name because it reminds me of Paul for some reason that I can't explain. Treacle Parkin.
Miriam, please. It's not Paul's case, it's Miriam's case.
And I really like the colour of it. What's the colour in the floss there, Mark? Is it
orange?
It's an orange.
It's an orange, yeah. I think could possibly run into a yellow, but certainly an orange.
You look
into
quite
the
thick
yellow.
there. Would you mind just holding up the floss
Okay.
bobbin that you've got?
Yeah. I haven't got any red wool. That's the reason why I've put this up.
That's a big thick clump there.
Yeah, yeah.
And how many strands have you put in the
Just
tail?
one strand. You could actually put another.
Have you brushed that out?
You could probably well go to two. Yeah, you could quite easily put 2 strands on that. No problem.
What, and is that from like a hobby shop, or is that like?
Yes, yes, it is. Yeah, it's.
Okay. I'll never be able to get that color. I won't know what it is. There it is. Anchor. I can see that. Tapisserie.
Tapisserie wool.
Tapisserie.
Yeah.
And what's the number on there, Mark? 0314.
That's it.
0314. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is that the same color that you would have sticking out of a peeping caddis, out of interest? Is that orange?
No, that would be a green or white you would use.
I've fished the orange peeping caddis as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah. You could use orange. No reason why not.
Yeah, I've had a lot of success with that on the chalk streams, but it feels like quite a heavy fly to be fishing on the chalk streams. It's a real bomb. Do you ever fish those, Gav, those big peeping caddises anymore? Oh, Gav's just coming back with a cup of tea.
Sorry.
Gav, I was just saying I fished the peeping caddis with the orange tag sticking out there, but they feel quite a heavy bombed fish on the chalk streams. Do you ever fish those nowadays? You remember we started off, we used to use that quite a lot, but I don't tend to nowadays. It just feels like quite a big lump to fish, and then I'd need a big on top.
I suppose it's just what's appropriate to the river you're fishing, you know. If you're fishing a sort of shallowish chalk stream, you're not going to need anything like that to get down. I mean, you can tie, you can still tie a peeping caddis in a really tiny pattern. You know what I mean? With I don't know, just a tiny bit of maybe a 2.5 mil bead or 2 mil.
Yeah.
You know, and keep it small. You know.
Remember, Gav, we were on the Derbyshire Wye, and they'd struggled the days before we'd gone on to fish it, and I put the peeping caddis on, and I had cover your ears, all you purists, a thingamybobber orange indicator just to hold the thing up, and we really caught well on the wild rainbows on the Derbyshire Wye there, on that peeping caddis, but they went for the indicator as well because it was that orange colour.
I've never really liked it as a pattern, the peeping caddis. You know, the sort of the big ones.
Yeah, no,
I don't actually like the way it looks. You know, but I mean, a lot of the jigs and things like that are sort of caddisy kind of imitations. You know, and some of them I just didn't like. You know, with the big sort of bulbous kind of
big lead shot.
They're just ugly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've seen some patterns recently, a lot smaller, and there was an article in in a magazine in today's Fly Fisher actually, and there was a couple of patterns in there, but they were really small caddis patterns, and being used on chalk stream, and just working really well. You know, with a very tiny sort of green pupa.
Yeah.
And just a little bit of dubbing, you know.
Yeah, I think there's a caddis called a Steve's caddis or something, and it has no weight at all.
Yeah.
It just has a couple of little eyes has been burnt off.
Or just a little strip of lead or something.
Yeah. There's no lead in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it's still got the fair length, you know.
Yeah,
but it's a good pattern, isn't it? Peeping caddis.
Yeah, it's not the best pattern to fish with, though.
Huey and I had some great fun with heavy lead-headed
caddises. Yeah, peeping caddis. Yeah.
Off the bridge at Warewell. Down
It gets down deep, you see, gets down way deep.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We were catching some big fish there, remember, Huey?
yeah, remember, yeah.
Where was that?
Very well.
Well, yeah.
Off the bridge.
Right, Gavin, can I change the conversation for a minute?
I wish you would.
Right, hey, listen to me. How are you fixed for moral lodges?
Oh, I've got loads of them.
Have you?
Yeah.
You'll just send me to Will.
Thanks. They're all from Will.
Every time I ask you for a moral lodge, you say, go and see Will.
They're all from Will.
All right. Go see Will.
1 second.
Oh, crumbs, what's he gone to get now? Yeah. How are you feeling, Mark Thomas?
Pretty good. Yeah, got 2 flies. Reckon they might catch a fish.
Good.
Parkin.
Good. Do you want to, I'm looking at the time. Do you want to just leave it at that for now, Will, rather than we've just got Mark tying?
Yeah.
If Mark is happy with what he's done, I'm not sure if we can get a close-up of it.
Can show you both of them happily.
Anyway.
Hold on a second before I go away. So that's the first one.
Good.
Oh, come on. Wow.
Wow.
Very good.
Sea trout fly.
Very, very, very
I mean,
good.
obviously, I didn't have the right colour, but you know, that's right.
Hold that up
Sea
again,
trout.
Mark, to the camera.
Is it in
Look
focus?
away now,
I can't
Michael
see.
Clancy.
That's very impressive. There's no way I
Yep.
can fly a fly like that on my.
Oh,
my
That's fly number 3.
I
Ever.
think we've got some natural talent here in the mix, Mark Turner.
No.
Well, he's our litmus paper. You know that, Will. He's
And
our
I'll
guinea
move
pig
this
here.
one up. This one not so great. I think I couldn't quite gauge the length of the hackle, but you know, if you like them bushy, come to the right place.
Nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
just trim that tail down a little bit. Cut it a little bit shorter. I think.
That's a little caddis pattern. You know the
Wow. Yeah.
With the green tail, yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
and then just sort of singed at the end,
Yes. Like
Right. Yeah.
just like you.
I think, Mark, that is a brilliant, absolute fantastic christening of your new vice.
Let's have a look,
Yeah.
Mark.
True. Thanks very much, Mark. Again, superstar content. So
Wow,
that's that one.
That's amazing.
bloody hell, Mark.
Jesus,
That's,
Mark, you must have a good teacher. I don't know. You must.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about the teacher. You send me a load of stuff as well. The man's a legend.
Master.
Generous to a fault.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. I'm very shocked in a good way. That's
Oh, you see it when I went
That's
away.
pretty
didn't you?
good.
But anyway,
wow. Very, very
thank you, Mark.
Absolutely
4.
superb.
amazing.
Brilliant job.
Well, chaps, I think I'm going to stop recording there. If everyone's happy, we can stay on.
Yeah, happy.
thanks, Will.
Thank you, Will.